I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to transmute and alchemize any challenge or life situation into more of what you prefer, because life is always going to throw challenges at you. It's always going to throw things at you. Even if you're in an awakened state, even if you consider yourself to be the most conscious individual, surprise, surprise, what you'll find is that life is still going to throw challenges at you. And in that moment, you have a choice. Are you going to take that challenge and use it to become something more, to become a more productive person, to be solution oriented, to alchemize that challenge, alchemize those fears that you might have into more of what you prefer? Or are you going to let that situation tear you apart and turn you into somebody that you don't want to be? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to make sure that you can transmute all those challenges and to become who you really want to be into who you prefer to be, and literally know what alchemy is by the time you finish this video. So I do encourage you to stay until the very end of this video, because alchemy is one of the most important topics that if you understand, you're pretty much going to have everything you want in life, for the most part at least. Again, life can kind of play its cards sometimes, but you have a choice in terms of how you alchemize what comes up for you, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for free consultation. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. Now, the first thing that you want to do, which is most people don't want to accept this. I didn't want to accept this for the longest time, but here's the truth. I'm here to tell you the truth. This is literally the truth. If you want to alchemize anything in your life, if you want to see true change in your life, actual, real change where you transform into something new, step one is to unconditionally accept everything as it is. And I'm not talking about like feeling bad or accepting the guilt or accepting the shame. Sure, unconditionally love and accept that too. But I encourage you to get to a point where you don't feel any guilt, you don't feel any shame, you don't feel any resistance towards the situation or the challenge, to fully get into this space of complete, I'm not going to say non-emotionality. You fully feel everything, but you feel it to such a high degree that it doesn't affect your inner state anymore. That's what it means to be a shaman. That's what it means to tap into your inner shaman, to tap into your inner wisdom. You say to yourself, you don't just say to yourself, you get to a state of consciousness where you feel sort of into the fact that this is not going to define my internal state. This is not going to control how I feel, because I decide how I feel. Because what is resistance going to do? Nothing. What does resistance do to any circumstance or challenge? Nothing. It only adds to the problem. And this is why I'm going to share with you this. You don't want to just unconditionally accept everything. I mean, obviously that's what it is. We'll get to what you want to do in a moment here in terms of what's next. But the reason why this is a critical foundation is because, look, for the longest time, I resisted this truth, to unconditionally accept everything. There's been times where I accepted things and then I resisted things because I convinced myself that it was a good reason to do so. But what you'll find is that anything that you resist, you're actually feeding it energy, whether you see it or not. So you're feeding energy to the thing you don't want to experience if you're resisting it. So by accepting this present moment, I'm not saying to accept the circumstances that you're in. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to unconditionally not allow that circumstance to define your internal state of being. Otherwise, you're literally going to feed it energy. And there's nothing to fear, there's nothing to be scared of, because letting go, the reason why you're safe to let go is because everything exists. So when you stop resisting this present moment and you allow it to be as it is, when you really get into that state, that space where you don't allow it to define your internal state, only from there can you truly create more. And you don't have to be worried about like losing yourself or dying, because that's the biggest fear we have. It's like, oh, if I accept everything, I'm going to die. It's the fear of death that usually comes up. There's nothing to fear, because what life is designed for, life is good. Life is meant to be really good. What it's designed for is to give you everything that's here, to unconditionally accept it, plus even more. That's what life wants from you. It wants you to accept everything that is, completely love it, just totally, allow it to be, not in like the sense where you feel bad or feel guilty, and if that's where you are, then feel that too. But I mean to really love it, to really allow it, to really get to that space where it does not define your internal state of being, then to create more from that space, to say, what can I do with this? Here's the cards I've been given. Here's what life has kind of shown me to be true. Cool. What are you going to do with that? Don't allow it to define your state of being. Then what you want to do next is take action from complete non-resistance. From that space of non-resistance, from that space of being aligned with the present moment, as Eckhart Tolle talks about it, being aligned with that inner intelligence of all that is, take action. Don't be afraid of action. Action is a very powerful thing, because basically what you're saying is, screw this situation, I'm going to become something more. Not from a space of seeing this situation as bad, not from a space of seeing this situation as there's something wrong or there's something to fix, but because why not have a preference? It's fun to create. It's a play. Challenge can become a lot of fun when you fully own it, when you fully allow yourself to feel how you feel, then to move on to what you prefer. That's what it means to be truly in a preference, and to create from preference versus to create from lack. Preference is one thing. Saying that this is bad and this shouldn't be, then to create something else. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You know what's going to happen if you do that? You're just going to create more of that thing. It's just very common. This is why affirmations typically don't work for a lot of people, because what they do is they're actively giving energy. In fact, the affirmations, not only is it not working for them, they're amplifying even more of what they don't want by continually feeding more resistance to this thing that they don't want to be experiencing. And so not only do the affirmations not work for them, they're amplifying all these things they don't want, and it's creating this loop of just not living a life that they prefer. So taking action from that space of non-resistance is much more powerful than even using affirmations sometimes, although affirmations can be good, which leads me to the third point. Once you take action from that space of accepting everything that is, number 3 is use thoughts that make you feel good, that don't amplify resistance, because you never want to be amplifying resistance in your experience. You only want to be using thoughts, affirmations, or anything of that sorts if it's going to assist you in feeling the best possible way that you can feel, wherever you're at, in whatever that way that means to you personally in this moment. There's no right or wrong. Your feelings, so to speak, or I wouldn't really call it a feeling, but you're like, yes, it's a feeling to some degree, but it's also just this inner intelligence that you're connected to, is always the highest source of wisdom. Never trust anybody else other than your highest source of wisdom. Doesn't matter what people say to you. I'm just kidding. Don't take that fully. Always trust people. Have support systems. Don't be like not trusting people. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that at the end of the day, you have to have discernment and trust yourself. You have to trust that your feelings, to some degree, I don't know if that's quite the right word, but your state of consciousness, your state of being, and what you feel, that beingness that you connect to, that is always should be the high source of wisdom that you connect to. Your desired state of being, what you feel, whatever that means to you. I guess you'd call it a feeling, because your consciousness can shift back and forth between certain lessons and learn different things. So there's no absolute here. Yes, I could say to some degree there's an absolute truth to reality, but you also have to honor where you are and take what I'm saying and how it works personally for you based on the emotional states that you're in. But really, no matter where you are on the spectrum of life and consciousness, even though I wouldn't say it's really a hierarchy, but just this whole like spectrum of life, no matter where you are in life, your feelings, like how good you feel, how connected you feel, and to some degree really is the highest source of wisdom that always is going to lead you to the right path for you personally, not for somebody else. Not the life that somebody else wants for you or thinks is good for you, but the one that you know is good for yourself, because you have that discernment to see the difference between fear and what your preference is and what you prefer to be creating. So really, transmutation and alchemy, all it really is completely non-resisting where you are, simultaneously going in the direction of what you prefer to be experiencing. And the key is prefer. Not because one thing is good or bad, but because it's just, why not? Let's play a little bit. Let's have fun with life. That's why you're here. You're here to be a divine creator where you honor all life forms, not to be a creator that screws with other people's vibration, but to be a creator where you honor all life forms and you get your preference, and so do they as well, in whatever way, whether it's a person, whether it's a circumstance, whether it's a romantic relationship that you're in. It doesn't matter what kind of a relationship it is, because you're in relationship with everything in life. You want to be always moving in the direction that you prefer. But if you come from a space of not allowing what is to be, saying that it doesn't have a right to exist, and you try to create from that space of not allowing things just to be the way that they are truly, well, hate to break it to you, but what's gonna happen is that you're gonna get more of what you don't want. It's just that simple. You're always gonna get more of what you don't want if you come from that space. That's been my experience. If you find a way around it, let me know. But that's been my experience. Because think about it, would you consciously amplify what you don't want? Of course not. But if you realize that you were creating it by resisting it, would you continue? You probably wouldn't. So sometimes it's important to see that we're creating what we don't want, and that's where the real transformation happens. Consciousness is the transformation. See, 90% of transformation, you know what it is? It's having an insight and having a realization. Now, what is an insight? What is a realization? It's realizing something that was already the case that you weren't conscious of before. It's to awaken to something, or, oh, I've been recreating similar experiences in my life and I didn't even realize it, kind of thing. That might be the mentality you have. And then you see that and you become conscious. Now, it's all consciousness. Unconsciousness really doesn't exist. You can just keep recreating the same experiences over and over and over again, and that's going to happen within consciousness. Or also within consciousness, you can create new experiences and live into something new that you've never experienced before. All of it is unconditionally loved. All of it really is okay, and all of it is, again, nothing doesn't exist. Everything exists. But at some point, you can choose to create what you prefer and not create from lack, not because you see the moment as bad, but because why not? So if you apply these things in this video, I'm telling you, that's what alchemy is. This is what is going to change your life. I wholeheartedly believe that the information in this video, if you fully received what it is that I shared in this video, there's nothing that you cannot create. And even if you do have a limitation, you're not going to let it define your internal state, and you'll keep relentlessly going in that direction so fearlessly that at some point it almost has to manifest, because life wants to support you when you're in alignment with life, how actually life works. And with that, I conclude this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. I actually just launched a new coaching program. So if you do want to be a part of this program, while there are still spots available and there are limited spots available for this program, be sure to apply for a free consultation by hitting the link that's in the description box of this video and in the comments of this video as soon as possible. Also, please hit that like button for me, because I do believe that every single person on this planet does deserve to know that they are the creators of their reality, and that they can manifest their reality and do so in the most effortless and easeful way possible. And hitting that like button does help the YouTube algorithm push the videos out to more people to help them get access to what I believe to be incredibly valuable content. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.